What happens when a struggling artist who serves coffee by day and sketches dreams by night meets a powerful executive burdened by corporate pressure and single parenthood? This isn't just another romance tale, it's a profound exploration of how love can heal the deepest wounds, how second chances can transform lives, and how family can be found in the most unexpected places. It's about two wounded souls who discovered that sometimes the most beautiful masterpieces are born from broken pieces that choose to fit together. Sarah's life revolved around the rhythmic sounds of coffee machines and the quiet scratch of pencil on paper. Each morning, she would position herself by her modest kitchen window, watching droplets trace paths down the glass while the cool air mirrored the internal chaos she carried. Her days were spent behind the counter at a local cafe, where the comforting aromas of brewing coffee and vanilla provided solace even when her own world felt uncertain. The weight of past betrayals pressed heavily on her shoulders, memories of a former partner who dismissed her artistic passion as frivolous and abandoned her, leaving her to question her value and capabilities. One particularly challenging evening, Sarah reached out to her closest confidant, needing to release the tangled emotions she could no longer contain. "He's a high-powered executive," Sarah confessed quietly, her voice filled with vulnerability, "and I'm just someone who makes beverages. How can I trust that his feelings are genuine? How do I know this isn't simply sympathy?" Her friend's voice remained steady and reassuring, like a beacon cutting through darkness, reminding Sarah that this man saw her true essence, not her job title, but her complete being with heart and soul intact. Despite these encouraging words, Sarah's insecurities ran deep, rooted in years of being underestimated and undervalued. That night, she turned to her sketchpad, that well-worn companion that had preserved the fragments of her aspirations and disappointments through countless sleepless nights. Her pencil hesitated over the blank page before beginning to trace tentative outlines of a man who had disrupted her carefully constructed world. As her strokes became more confident, capturing his gentle eyes, the curve of his smile, and his protective demeanor, Sarah began to realize that perhaps she was seeing him through different eyes that were learning to hope again. The following afternoon, Sarah left her apartment carrying her sketchpad, heading to meet her friend at their preferred cafe. The warm, familiar atmosphere provided some comfort, but her thoughts were consumed by this complex man and their complicated situation. Her friend smiled with understanding as she handed Sarah a small envelope, her expression filled with compassion. "This arrived for you," she said gently. Sarah's hands trembled as she opened it, and inside was a simple note in his careful handwriting. "I miss your worst coffee." That seemingly insignificant message carried more significance than any grand declaration could have. It was an indication of continued connection, a sign that he still cared even when words failed him. The bittersweet smile that appeared on Sarah's face was tender, accompanied by tears that flowed down her cheeks, warm and healing, washing away some of the fear that had been building inside her. She carefully folded the note, keeping it like a token of hope. But life had more surprises in store. The next day, another letter arrived from a local art space. Her paintings had been chosen for an upcoming showcase, an opportunity she had only dreamed of. Yet, mixed with excitement was a pang of confusion and concern. She knew this man had submitted her work without informing her, an act of support that felt both caring and presumptuous. Was this his way of showing care, or was it a reminder of the gap between them? The question troubled her, making her wonder if his kindness was authentic or simply another form of condescension disguised as affection. That evening, Sarah sat alone in her softly lit apartment, staring at an unfinished canvas where the brushstrokes were as hesitant and uncertain as her own emotions. Meanwhile, across town, this man sat in the quiet of his home, holding a painting his daughter had created, a colorful but vibrant depiction of a family under a bright sun. He traced the lines with gentle fingers, thinking of Sarah and wanting her to see not just his professional persona, but the man who cared deeply for his children and quietly for her. When his phone buzzed with a message, he paused before calling Sarah with an invitation that would change everything. "My daughter wants to learn how to paint. Would you teach her? She admires you." Sarah's heart quickened at the request, and she replied without hesitation, "I would love to." Suddenly, she wasn't just an outsider in his world, she was becoming part of it, weaving her own story into his children's lives. The next morning, sunlight streamed through the windows of the cafe, turning it into a golden refuge. Sarah held his note in her hands, the words warming her from within as she looked out at patrons arriving, the world outside bright and full of possibility. For the first time in weeks, the knot of fear in her chest loosened, and the distance between their worlds felt smaller now, bridged by shared hope, whispered dreams, and the fragile courage to believe in a second chance. The late afternoon sun cast long shadows through the windows of his home as Sarah sat on a small chair, her hands guiding his daughter's tiny fingers over a brush. The little girl's eyes sparkled with excitement as colors bloomed on the canvas, but Sarah's thoughts wandered beyond the brushstrokes to the world she had just entered, a world far more complex than any art gallery or cafe. As she glanced toward the hallway, she noticed him quietly entering the dimly lit nursery. She followed silently and found him gently rocking his youngest child, who was restless and coughing softly. His eyes showed signs of exhaustion, his face marked by weariness and a vulnerability few had ever witnessed. It was a glimpse of the man behind the powerful executive facade, a man worn down by sleepless nights, concerns, and the relentless weight of responsibility. Later that evening, Sarah overheard him speaking quietly during a call with his assistant. "I'm frightened," he admitted softly, almost to himself. "I don't know how to open up to Sarah. If she discovers my past mistakes, how I nearly lost everything, she'll leave. She deserves better." Sarah's heart clenched as she listened from the doorway, the weight of his fears mixing with her own uncertainties. She wanted to be strong for him, but she was too afraid that the man she was growing to care for might disappear once more, hidden behind walls of pride and pain. The following day, the tension between them finally broke. Sitting across from him in the quiet living room, Sarah's voice trembled as words poured out before she could stop them. "Why did you conceal all this from me? Did you think I wasn't worthy of the truth?" His gaze fell, a flicker of pain crossing his features. "Sarah, you make me want to be authentic, not just the cold executive everyone expects. But I was afraid that if I showed you the real me, the flawed parts, you would leave. I never wanted to lose you." Tears welled in Sarah's eyes as he began to share his story. Years ago, he had made a terrible decision, dismissing an employee unfairly. The legal battle that followed nearly destroyed him, his reputation, and his confidence. He had withdrawn afterward, finding it easier to hide behind a mask than face reality. Her own tears flowed as she whispered, "I'm frightened too. I've experienced so much loss before. I thought if I let anyone close, I'd lose them again." Without hesitation, they moved closer, embracing tightly. The warmth of their shared pain dissolved barriers, creating a fragile space of trust and understanding. He reached into the room where his daughter had left a drawing and brought it over. The picture was simple but heartfelt, a sketch of Sarah with a cape standing tall. "My daughter says, you're her hero," he said softly. Sarah's throat tightened with emotion as she held the drawing, feeling the significance of a new role. Not just as an artist or CAF worker, but as part of this family. Just then, his youngest child toddled over, wrapping small arms around her waist. "You tell superhero stories better than Daddy," the child giggled. Sarah laughed, a genuine sound filled with newfound joy. The room brightened with the unspoken promise of belonging. Outside, the sun set below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of gold and pink. Through the window, Sarah and he stood side by side, gazing into the fading light. Words were unnecessary. They shared a moment of quiet understanding, the beginning of healing in the warmth of the setting sun. The art space buzzed with quiet admiration as Sarah's paintings adorned pristine white walls. The subtle lighting highlighted every brushstroke, every hue in her work, drawing viewers closer to the emotions she had poured onto each canvas. For the first time in years, Sarah felt her art was not just a secret held in a sketchpad, but a voice that could be heard, a story that demanded attention. From a distance, he watched with pride hidden beneath his composed exterior. Unknown to Sarah, he had quietly arranged educational support to assist her artistic pursuits, a gift born not of obligation, but genuine belief in her talent and potential. He wanted to provide her opportunities he had never had, to nurture her creative spirit without the obstacles she had once faced. Sarah's days soon transformed as she accepted a new position as an art consultant at a major corporation. The company's walls, once filled with fashion designs, began to welcome her influence. Bold colors and abstract patterns that reflected her unique perspective transformed the sterile corporate environment into something vibrant and alive. Yet amidst the professional excitement, Sarah grappled with her own self-doubt, wondering if she truly belonged in this world of affluence and high expectations. Meanwhile, his evenings were restless. He questioned his worthiness, not just as an executive struggling under the weight of success, but as a man learning to open his heart. The demands of his empire often pulled him away from his children and now from Sarah, the woman who had gently begun to heal wounds he thought were permanent. One morning, Sarah arrived at her workspace to find a new sketchpad resting on her desk. A simple note lay atop it, written in his familiar handwriting: "Keep creating your dreams. Don't let them fade." Her lips curved into a grateful smile, and when their eyes met across the room later, an unspoken understanding passed between them. A shared promise to keep moving forward together. Weeks later, Sarah organized an art workshop for children at the corporation, inviting his children to participate. The room buzzed with laughter and brushes dancing on canvas. His daughter approached Sarah shyly, pressing a carefully folded drawing into her hands. It was a family portrait, simple lines, warm colors, and in the center, Sarah standing beside him and the children. "You're part of our home now," his daughter said softly. Sarah's eyes glistened with tears as she held the gift close. In that moment, she realized her value was no longer measured by past mistakes or doubts, but by the love and acceptance she had found. He watched quietly from the doorway, his heart swelling with affection. Seeing Sarah with his children, nurturing their creativity and dreams, he knew his feelings ran deeper than fear or hesitation. She was not just part of their lives, she was becoming the heart of their family. During the workshop, Sarah guided his daughter in painting a heroic figure, a bright character soaring through a colorful sky. His youngest child, ever the storyteller, spun a hilarious tale of a clumsy hero who saved the day with laughter and kindness. The room erupted with giggles, a chorus of joy and creativity that filled every corner. As afternoon sunlight streamed through the windows, bathing the room in golden light, Sarah felt a profound sense of healing. It was more than the colors on the canvas or the stories shared. It was the mending of hearts, the blending of lives, and the quiet certainty that love, like art, could transform even the deepest scars into something beautiful. In that warm glow, Sarah knew that this was only the beginning of their shared masterpiece. The sleek conference room at the corporation buzzed with tension as he stood before the board of directors. The polished table reflected the stern expressions and crossed arms of executives who questioned his recent decisions, particularly the significant role he had given Sarah within the company. Some whispered that his personal feelings were clouding his judgment. His jaw tightened, his eyes scanning the room, meeting their cold gazes directly. "I understand your concerns," he began steadily, "but this isn't favoritism. Sarah brings a unique artistic vision that is already enhancing our brand identity. Let me show you the data." A sleek presentation appeared, charts and graphs illustrating increased customer engagement and rising sales tied directly to campaigns influenced by Sarah's artistic touch. The room shifted slightly as numbers spoke louder than skepticism. Internally, he wrestled with more than boardroom politics. He thought quietly, "This challenge is bigger than Sarah. It's for my children, for the legacy I want to leave, and for the person I'm still becoming." He had long struggled with his role as an executive and the desire to be a better father and partner. Outside the sterile meeting room, Sarah paced nervously. Doubts troubled her. Was this world truly for her? Could she genuinely belong here? Or was she an interloper on borrowed time? But when he emerged, his steady gaze and quiet confidence eased some of her fears. Seeing him fight so hard made her believe not just in him but in their shared future. That evening, he invited Sarah and his children to a local park. The urban landscape softened beneath towering trees and open skies, a sanctuary where laughter and innocence flourished. His daughter and youngest child dashed ahead, their joyous voices blending with rustling leaves. Kneeling beside his youngest, he bent down to tie the child's shoelace, his hands gentle but sure, his eyes lifting to meet Sarah's across the grassy area. A silent exchange of warmth and reassurance passed between them. Though no words were spoken, the tenderness in his gaze spoke volumes. Sarah's heart fluttered, wanting to express the feelings growing within her, but unsure if the moment was right. Instead, she smiled, catching the unspoken promise in his eyes, a promise of honesty, patience, and something deeper. Nearby, his daughter approached Sarah shyly, clutching a crumpled sketch. "I want to be an artist like you," she whispered, eyes bright with hope. Will you teach me? I want to paint just like you. Sarah wrapped her arms around the child in a warm embrace. The feeling of holding this little girl so full of dreams and trust stirred something maternal deep within her. In that moment, she wasn't just an artist or calf worker anymore, she was family. As the sun descended lower, casting golden light over the park, a colorful kite soared high against the sky, carried by a steady breeze. It danced freely, untethered yet purposeful, a symbol of the newfound freedom and possibilities for Sarah, him, and the family they were building together. In the gentle sway of the afternoon, beneath the vast open sky, hope took flight. The holiday atmosphere enveloped the corporation in cozy warmth as December progressed, and the headquarters sparkled with festive decorations. Sarah, now a confident art consultant, moved through the bustling corridors with a radiant smile, her golden hair catching the soft glow of the holiday lights that twinkled overhead. Thanks to the educational support he had quietly arranged, she had resumed her art studies, refining her craft and embracing a future once clouded by doubt. That evening was the company's annual holiday celebration, transformed into a tribute to creativity and family. Sarah stood alongside his children in a spacious hall where a large canvas awaited their touch. Together they began painting a vibrant mural titled Family, their brushes weaving stories of love, hope, and new beginnings. The children laughed as colors blended, each stroke a testament to the bond that had grown between them. He arrived, his presence calm yet commanding as he approached the group. He smiled warmly, watching Sarah guide the children's hands across the canvas. "Sarah, you and the kids have made my world so much brighter," he said softly, his voice carrying the depth of a man who had found more than just professional success. As the mural took shape, the room filled with warmth and the soft sounds of holiday music. Later, he led Sarah, his daughter, and youngest child out into the cool evening air toward the city's holiday square, where twinkling lights and festive cheer created a magical setting. Taking Sarah's hand gently, he looked into her eyes with tenderness that made her heart flutter. "Sarah, I've loved you since the very first imperfect coffee you made for me. You gave me and my children a second chance at life and love. I want to be by your side, not as an executive, but as the man who belongs to you and our family." Tears shimmered in Sarah's eyes as she whispered back, "I love you too. You showed me that art and love can heal even the deepest wounds." Their lips met beneath the sparkling lights, a kiss filled with promise and the hope of forever. Nearby, his children cheered, their joy echoing through the festive air. Afterward, he pulled a small gift from his coat pocket, a simple, empty picture frame. "Here," he said, "create the future we'll build together." Sarah hugged the frame close, her smile radiant with happiness and certainty. As they wandered through the square, his youngest child animatedly told a story about Sarah, saving his father from danger, eyes wide with excitement. His daughter shyly showed Sarah a drawing she had made of all four of them, proudly declaring, "You're my superhero, Mom." Sarah's heart swelled as she embraced them both, feeling the fullness of a family forged not just by blood, but by love and shared dreams. The holiday lights glittered overhead like stars come to earth, reflecting the joy and warmth of a family beginning a new chapter. In the days that followed, the corporation launched Art for Everyone, a foundation dedicated to supporting children's artistic aspirations, inspired by Sarah's journey and his vision. Together, Sarah and he built a world where creativity and compassion healed hearts, proving that through art and love, even the deepest scars could become masterpieces of hope. This is their story, a testament to the power of trust, second chances, and the magic that happens when the hearts choose to be vulnerable with each other. Love isn't about perfect beginnings. It's about choosing each other through every challenge, believing in dreams that seem impossible, and finding family in the most unexpected places. Sarah found her worth, he found his heart, and together, they found their masterpiece not just in art, but in the beautiful life they created together, one brushstroke of love at a time.